And we should be live. Welcome to the stream. It is among my dreams to make you smile, so sit down and stay a while. We are building today the scope dog from crap, I labeled it doesn't matter, that's in the description. But we are building the scope dog from Votoms, which is an anime I will fully admit I have not seen. I watched the first episode today because you guys voted on this. And it honestly think I'm probably, if I can find the time, watch the rest of it, but I still, have so many other things to watch. I want to watch it though. It is wonderfully 80s in like the best ways. Ooh. Well, let's open this up and see what's inside. Let's look at the instruction manual first. Oh, there's other mechs. We can get. Looks like they're just different. They're just recolors for the most part, except for this guy. This guy looks to be a completely different mold, actually. The other ones appear just to be recolors with some slight differences. Like this one has a cannon arm. But outside of just the gear, they seem pretty similar. 120 scale, a lot bigger than normal, but at the same time, these are also a hell of a lot smaller. Ooh. Let's see. Well, actually, I think we can see right here, just, like, that is to scale. Like, the pilot standing next to it is, yeah, that's about to scale. Ooh. It's really, really small in comparison to, say, a Gundam. This is, like 5 meters, probably, compared to the Gundam's, 18 meters. Even the smallest Gundam is still like about 15 meters. This is a third the size of even the smallest mobile suits. Well, that's not true. There are some mobile suits that are real tiny. But let's just get stuck into it. And actually, ooh, humor me. Okay. I will actually keep my sprues over here for once, so that way I don't have to turn away every time I need to get a sprue. Oh, for once I'll be conscious of the audio quality. It looks like a pretty straightforward build in all honesty. I don't know if we're gonna do any prep on it. I'm not very familiar with the level of detail on these. There's like some prep I could do. Kind of question if I'd want to. There's I don't know, maybe heating vents or something on these legs right here. They are pretty flat overall, though. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get out the paint just for the legs. I feel like more of the detailing would be weathering made after the fact. Ooh. I'm pretty curious just how big this will be, even at 120 scale. Even for how small it's supposed to be at 120 scale. Let me... What? Get the BGM up and running for you guys. Okay, let me get the cutty parts out. Actually, because we're not doing any prep, we can just go straight into building. I don't have a picture in the corner. That's my mistake. Also, I feel like I'm a little big, or I'm a little offset. I should be more to the side. Let me fix that. Ah! There we go. Okay. We're gonna need this. We're going to need the... Oh no! I just realized. I don't think my tweezers are where they're supposed to be, but they're right here. Okay, well, that's not where they're supposed to be, but it's also not a terrible spot. Why do you have flour on you? Because I was doing food prep out here. Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's get the other things out. D, okay. This, we need A, we need D. This is B. C, D. Not a lot well, actually, a lot happens in the first episode. I shouldn't say a lot, not a lot happens. It actually felt really, content-rich, the first episode of Votan. But also, as I was saying, it was pretty 80s, and the fact that it starts off with, like, a very jazzy opening, which doesn't really feel appropriate, except for the fact that it's like an 80s anime, so it's very appropriate. In any other context, I'd be like, this is a little weird, but I've been down this road before, and I'm like, this is just good music, I'm okay with it. But what it is like you have like it's pretty much like post-space 100-year war, effectively, is what it looks like. I don't know if it intended to be, I don't know if there's going to be any parallels with the 100-year war. I don't really know the history of the 100-year war enough, to be fair, to recognize parallels if there were. Especially the end of the 100-year war. But I am a little curious if it's just a coincidence or not. You know, just 100 is just a nice round number, so you could just be like, oh, there was a 100-year war in space. To be fair. But I'm pretty curious if there's going to be more to it. If it's going to be more... If the mecha are going to be more treated like suits of armor, which it kind of feels like, then... I don't know, how do I put this? I'm wondering if there's going to be an undertone of chivalry in the story, or if it's just going to be a war, like a more traditional war story. Don't really know where it's going to go. But while the war is getting while the end of the war is being negotiated, a splinter force pretty much breaks off and takes a decommissioned ship to pretty much like loot a bunch of stuff. They go to a remote base that is off the books and just get a bunch of gold that's there. And also they find a naked woman in a pod and take her. You might be like, excuse you? Listen, dude, it's classic sci-fi, okay? That's good storytelling right there. You're immediately, you're interested. You heard a naked woman in a pod, and you were immediately perked up, because that's a hook. That's what they call a hook. Ooh. Okay, I think I have all the pieces. Pretty simple, straightforward build. There's a little worried this might be like an ATST, which is just horrendously detailed, but I'm quickly remembering that this is animation. Ooh, and that level of detail, nobody would have time for that. This is nice 80s streamlined mecha. Before they could, use computers and whatnot to do the animations, and then, overload the detail. Ugh. So that was more of a problem in JRPGs, the fact that once they figured out, oh hey, the computers can just like animate to a level of detail and complexity that like would just be impractical to do by hand. You got a lot of JRPGs just going like, let's go really wild with the designs. Let's just not hold anything back, which at first seems like a good idea, but in retrospect, I don't think it was. I think some of those designs were a bit silly, a bit over the top. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Ooh. Actually, speaking of just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. They brought back the dire wolf, supposedly. I'm a little skeptical to that, I'm gonna be completely honest. And I'm a little skeptical because... What's going on here? I'm a little skeptical because dire wolves aren't wolves. They're a different species entirely. So I'd want to ask firstly, how did you bring back dire wolves without there being a surrogate dire wolf to be a mother for them? Which implies to me that they didn't bring back dire wolves, they probably brought back hybrids with wolves. So they pretty much cloned, which is important because it's dire wolves aren't the same thing as wolves in the same way that tigers aren't the same thing as lions. And so, what am I seeing here? And so they probably actually brought back hybrids if they brought back anything at all. It might not even really have brought back even something. They might not have even brought back actual hybrids. I'd want to know the full context of the genetic material used and how they brought it back. Because again, the best they can do is a hybrid right now. So I did see a funny post online, and actually somebody posted it on the Discord as well, of how... Whoop! There we go. Of how we got real-life dire wolves before we got, before almost said J.J. Abrams. Before, George R.R. Martin finished Winds of Winter. Which is actually pretty insane. Man literally has been working on that shit for so... Well, working, quote-unquote. Man has been on that for so long that we literally resurrected the dire wolves. Just go in, please. There we go. Had to be aligned properly. Let me... I could have sworn I cut this off. Did I not? I did not. It was It was E4. Ooh. Oh god. This stream might be very Devil May Cry heavy because even though I had, what, a 5-hour stream with Cap about it, with Cap it was very more off the cuff, and I tried to get through the story plot, but like there were so many tangents that it wasn't really cohesive. So I might go over to Devil May Cry here as well. Ooh, or at least the highlights of it. Not in a good way. Highlights not in a good way. That show is not very good. A lot of people are calling out the creator for how he oh things. Wait, oh no. Oh! You can rotate it just like in... I don't know if this comes through, but... You see it's there? And then I can rotate it here. Just like in the anime. Oh, thank you for freezing up while I was rotating it. That's really cool. It can be rotated. Just like in the anime. That is a level of detail that they did not need to do. They could have just had it be stationary. Sorry. They could have had this part. They could have had the actual scope rotation be stationary. Ooh. Also, it's sliding in here pretty well. Not perfectly. But I'm going to guess over time it's going to get a lot smoother. But you also don't want it to be too smooth as well. You want it to stick where you put it. So that's already a nice little thing. And he could do a little bit of paint work here, I see. Either... I don't know what I want to do there. Black feels a little basic. But it would feel a little isolated if I did any other color. There's a lot of room on this for customization. A lot of flat, open areas for decals and customization to be had. That's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. Cut, let's cut, let's cut. Okay. And... I'm feeling like... I don't know, it might be my angle, but it feels a little dark. I might have to change the lighting a little bit. Then B. This was B, wasn't it? Yes. I more remember because I remember seeing this part in it, which is what we need. Okay. Then that's going to be C. I'm almost kind of disappointed you don't get a little dude to go along with this. Maybe you do, and I just haven't seen him yet. But it'd be really cool if you do get a little dude. Normally, like with pretty much anything smaller than a master grade, I find getting a little dude to be pointless because it's just so small that like most people are never going to paint them because they're just one solid color. Most people aren't going to display them with the guy. But here you could actually make like the dude would probably be about this big. Is how I'm guessing it right now. Let me see if I can find a leg armor. Like the leg is this big. And yeah, so like the guy would be about from here to here on the sprue. He'd be about this tall, approximately, is what I'd guess. Which would be pretty big. That'd be not quite as big as like old master grades would have like a little statuette. But it would still be pretty big. Those statuettes I think were like this big or something. It'd be probably 2/3 that size. Let's see here, C7. Ooh. Why so tiny? I do like though the sides of these mobile, almost said mobile suit, of these mecha. I feel like a lot of mecha are just massive. You don't get a lot of you don't get like a lot of things that are too big to be power armor, but still a mecha. But like too small to be like, you know, your traditional mecha. Like everything seems like the cutoff point for mecha is usually like 10 meters. You know, like anything below that, it almost feels like they think that's too small to be a mech. And anything smaller than that will be like some kind of power armor. Even if it's some kind of like very large power armor where they don't even have their arms in the suit, but how do I put it? They don't have like they might have to like remote pilot like the armor's arms or something, but like they'll still manually, quote unquote, manually operate the legs by walking. Actually, I don't know how big it is, but probably the only other thing that's coming to mind, there's a lot of other things that do have mecha about this size, but something that's clearly a mecha and not advanced power armor that is about this size and something else. I think it's bigger. I actually think it's a little bit bigger. Would be Avatar now that I think about it. The mechs in Avatar are also kind of this scale. Ooh. Thinking about how big the cockpits are for them. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger. Let me see here. Oh, A. No wonder I'm not seeing it on C. Duh. Dummy Merrick. Ooh. One interesting thing that's been happening is that my shorts haven't been getting picked up until like really late night, I've noticed. Like, there's a way for me to check, and they're not even like going on to people's feeds until like 4 o'clock in the morning. which I don't know why. But they're getting views when they are going on 4 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully my most recent one gets views as well, but kind of just weird in general. Ooh. That YouTube is doing that. It kind of feels like, in general, YouTube's kind of been demoting me recently, and I don't know why. Really feels like YouTube's been keeping my head underwater for the last couple of weeks, and I'm not really sure why. Part of me thinks it's just the time of year, but then things like the fact that things like my videos not getting recommended. My videos and streams and shorts are not getting recommended until like hours after they've been uploaded. That's also a little that makes me suspicious. I wish I could say it's nothing, but with YouTube, you never know. You never know with YouTube. And I just heard my dog outside flip his bowl. Because he's one of those dogs who has to eat his food off the floor like a savage. Okay. Parts aren't cutting off quite as clean as I'd expect them to. Almost thought because this is more of a unique kit that it would have better gating, but at the same time, it's still not terrible. Like the fact that these gates are on the side and this is going to have this is going to be flush with this, so I think it'll be hidden. Yeah, this will be hidden. That's good. So I guess it doesn't need to be very clean when you cut them off if the geometry hides it naturally, but I just don't know if all these are going to be hidden. Chat, where is the handle? This is same problem I have with real grades. That you just have some things that when they get cut off are the size of gates. So we're just gonna plug that in now, not wait. Bop, bop, bop. Sweet Caroline. No. That song has bad juju for me. We ain't singing that one. Okay, looks like there's no polycaps in this guy so far. Actually, no, there's no polycaps. That means it's newer. Ooh. Which is both good for the mold and happy for Merrick. Because no polycaps means that you can customize the thing and repair it a lot easier. A polycap breaks, you're kind of shit out of luck. And that's happened to me more than once. That has happened to me more than once. Ooh. But if if like one of these joints break, you can usually fix them. My Zaku, which was the first thing I built that didn't have polycaps, it's like the new Zaku, it's like 34, like 234 or something. That one of its arms was loose. Its wrist, actually. I think it was because it had not its wrist. It's like it has a joint at the wrist, but it also has like a joint right here, so it can like twist its arm more, and it has like a little bit more flexibility in the arm. And that joint was loose on one side, but I was able to tighten it, and it's pretty good now. Ooh. If that was a polycap, it would have been a little. If that was a polycap and polycap, that would have been next to impossible to fix. Even if it was just a plastic joint in a polycap, it would have been pretty bothersome to fix. There we go. There we go. In hindsight, I realized before the start of stream, maybe I should have... Maybe I should have actually saved this for when I watch Votoms. Ooh, and then done a stream where I just build it and talk about Votoms, like what I'm going to do for Gundam X. But that's hindsight, and it's a bitch. Ooh. I said in March I was going to do more collabs, but it seems that more in April is the collab month. I've purposely kept it a lot more open, and I already have like several collabs planned, and I actually have some collabs some things that I was not planning to be collabs are, well, becoming collabs, like a watch along for Blazing Saddles, was supposed to just be, hey, you want to watch this, dude? And then he was just like, yeah, sure, let's turn it into a watch along stream, and I was like, oh, okay. That's gonna be May 3rd, but that's a long way away. We actually have another watch along on April 19th for the Prince of Egypt. We got a lot of things planned. We're probably gonna have a read-along stream with somebody. Or a co-reading stream, rather. I don't know when that's going to be, but it might be this or... I don't think it'd be this week. That's probably too short notice, but... Might be as early as next week, but I don't want to say anything more on that. I don't want too much spoilers. D4. These are both D4, so I'm just going to cut them both off. B. Chat, remember that A is over there. I'm going to forget. It'd be appreciated. These. There we go. Bop. Bop. Now why is it saying that? One minute. What is wrong with my... Is Twitch lying to me again? Twitch has a terrible habit of not understanding my bitrate. That is not bad bitrate. Don't tell me my bitrate's bad, Twitch. Oh. I don't know why, when I have like green bitrate on OBS and YouTube, Twitch will just go like, your bitrate's bad. It's like, why are you being spiteful to me? Why are you being like that? Ooh. The forearms. How far are we? Only half hour in. Could be a shorter build. And a shorter stream for it. D15. And both of these are 15, so I can just cut them both off. Both off. One thing I noticed is I haven't been enunciating as well as I should, but I'm gonna try to fix that. C9. Let's see. C9. Oh. Ooh. Actually, I want to talk about pretty much anything besides Devil May Cry. So how about I talk about Jack Reacher and how I am convinced that man I've only seen the 3rd season. But I am convinced that man is a horror movie monster. Like Jack Reacher is the reincarnation of a horror movie monster. I don't know, it's like some kind of Hinduism or Buddhism stuff, I don't know. He was a bad man in his past life, but he's now a good man in this life to atone for it or something. But holy crap. You might be like, why would I say like he's a horror movie monster reincarnated? Because you might think because he's like a big, intimidating dude. No, that's only half of it. The reason Jack Reacher is a reincarnation of like Jason Voorhees is because this dude will find the one like horror movie murder weapon and just grab it. Like there's just a pickaxe and like like he'll be like, oh hey, a crowbar. I can stab through a person with a crowbar, and it's just like, Jack, why would you think that, Jack? Like what's going on in there? He's like, hey, what is this? Like a like a hook to bringing in a net for fishing? Yeah, I could stab a dude with that, and it's just like there's a sequence on a boat where like a guy where like they're on a boat looking for someone, and then they get interrupted by someone else, and the person he's with goes chasing after the person who caught them looking around, and while she's chasing after him, he just casually just walks over, kicks over a paint can, which like there's already a fire on board because when they got caught, a fire kicked off. And so he just kicks over a paint can to make it like just to fuel the fire, So immediately is again this horror movie, this energy, just like, okay, how can I make this worse? Bah, and then he just grabs the net hook and just like all of this he does super casually. He just walks up the stairs to the deck, and it's just like, this dude's just a horror movie monster, and he fights in the season finale the Dutch Giant, who like that's just what the actor's moniker is, but the character's name is Polly, but it's a 7'2" man who's built like a absolute unit, and it really feels just like Jason Voorhees fighting Leatherface the entire fight. It is very, very fun. And both of them, oh my god, both of them really feel just like immortal killing machines going at each other. But there's actually, speaking of horror movies, there's actually a scene during the fight where Jack Reacher, after like they fight into like, they fight so hard, they end up throwing each other into the ocean eventually. And the current like throws them out to sea. And Jack gets the upper hand and seemingly beats Polly, and he's like, gets back to the shore. He's tired. He just had this big fight, and he just, had this big fight, and he just had to swim back from shore and walk all the way back, and he's on the road, and he's just like kind of like walking super tired, trying to get his breath back. And then you just hear rustling in the background, and where he came out of the forest, you just see a silhouette like he was a few seconds ago, but the silhouette's a lot bigger, and you're like, oh, that's the Dutch Giant. Like, he's back. Like, Polly's back. It's just a horror movie, and it's so good. Oh god, I think it's the closest thing you'll ever get to Jason versus Leatherface. Oof. This is gonna be a really bad... This is a horrible gate. Oh, that is awful. Look at that. You can see that white mark really clearly. That is bad. That's bad, and it's supposed to be like that. That is a really bad gate. Compared to everything else so far, that's a... And nothing's going to be covering that up. Like, this part right here, that's a bad cut, but, like, it's gonna get covered up. It's fine. Yeah, that's a... I'm gonna have to get out the God Hand for the other one to make sure that doesn't happen again. That's a really, really bad gate. It's on a really exposed area. And there's nothing, and it's really thick, so there's not really much you can do. There's not really much you can do to make it not look bad. Let me... That looks a little bit better, but even with a god hand, it's still pretty messy. That's gonna have to be sanded, but it looks like it has... It's gonna have to be sanded, but it's right next to this panel line. I don't know if you can see that. It's right... Yeah, there you go. It's right next to that panel line, and it goes around to here as well. So, if I do sand it, I might have to scry back in the panel lining, which is, again, just not an ideal thing. That's not very good. That's not excellent. That is bogus. I want Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I do not want things to be bogus, bro. There's Gunner running back and forth. You probably couldn't hear it, but I could. Oh, and also I missed that B16. Okay, these both are B16, so I can just cut off both of them. Symmetrical pieces are my favorite. Let me get this back. There we go. Do 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 do. You know, I would say I'm happy that stomach grumble wasn't caught on the mic, but at the same time, because it would be too quiet, at the same time, I'm kind of upset because I think I want to have a doctor listen to that one. Ooh. I was singing a little song, my stomach wanted to tune in. Ooh, join in. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ba, 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 da, da. Okay. And that appears to be everything. So let's start building the arms. This, and then this. One thing I need to be easier said than done. 1 minute. Apologies about that. Ooh. Actually, another thing I can talk about instead of Devil May Cry. I have gone back and checked out some SCP. I remember when I was younger liking SCP, but I remember that hearing that, like, it got retified. Ooh. Like, at some point in the last couple of years, and you can really tell, like, the point when like, you can tell, like, there's a real clear cutoff between the classic writing and, like, the more modern writing for SCPs. It's a real, like, there is no question, like, when it starts to be quote-unquote modern writing, let's just call it. Let's call it what it is. It's post-modern writing. Not even post-modern writing, it is post-modern. Ooh, and it is not the cleanest. Not clean at all, actually. It's pretty awful. But oh, that's nice. That's a nice amount of detail right there. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, dog is trying to eat wood again. Gunnar does not understand that he is not a beaver. Also, sounds like I need to buy new chopsticks again. Oh god, I used to wonder what was happening to my chopsticks until I realized that my dog was fucking stealing them and trying to eat them. But okay. There we go. Let's do the leg now. We are... Jesus Christ, we're not even like an hour into this. What the hell are we supposed to do? Wait, if we build this all today, what the hell are we supposed to do tomorrow? Because we're like already almost like... I'm sorry, after the legs, what do we have? You're kidding me right now, right? I don't even think I can like justify this being 2 streams. Like a what, a 1 hour stream each? But then what are we doing tomorrow? We finished this today. What the hell are we doing tomorrow, chat? I've never... This should have been a Sunday build, apparently. Sunday builds are supposed to be the, like, small things. Like, I have, balls, from Gundam, or I have, not a mobile armor, but I have, like, in a support craft from, Witch from Mercury, which would only be, probably as long as this, only, like, 2 hours. Ooh. I just had no idea this was going to be 2 hours itself. So, let's see here. 5. 6. I think I already said this, but I am very interested in... Where are you, buddy? In this one. If I see that, I'm definitely gonna grab it. It looks really, really cool. I didn't know that there were other things of these, but I doubt that I'm ever going to see that. Ooh. My dog ends up chasing his tail so hard that he ends up vomiting again. I'll be a little annoyed. He get dizzy and then he pukey. Not appreciated. Oh my goodness. There are moments in Devil May Cry Netflix. There are moments in the Netflix Devil May Cry that really make you go like, did they forget like what they just wrote 5 seconds ago? Or like how am I supposed to interpret that? Dante literally has super speed and takes out a bunch of hired mercenaries in matters of seconds. But then Lady comes in and she fires a grappling hook that misses him, but gets the jewel on his neck. Which she had to be aiming for, like, how he would dodge. Which I don't think that's even possible to aim for. Like, she had to aim, he was looking straight at her, she had to aim for him turning his neck and the jewel flying at a particular angle to grab it mid-air as he was, you know, dodging her whatever, her grappling hook. But also, I think that... I don't know if that even makes sense in and of itself. But she fires her grappling hook, it hits into the wall, and it's like, ah, you missed me. It's like, did I? And then, you know, she pulls back the grappling hook, it has the jewel on it, and Dante's like, ooh! And they do a slow-mo sequence, which I guess is slow motion to make you forget that, oh hey, Dante has super speed. Ooh. But I didn't forget that he had super speed, because literally he was using his super speed, like, in the last scene. Technically in the same scene, actually. So there's plenty of moments like that. There's a moment where they put an explosive where they just have nanomachines for like one sequence. They have explosive nanomachines that they inject into Dante. And the whole reason they inject explosive nanites into Dante is so that way we can have more of the show. Because Dante's because what it is like, oh hey, if you move 1 mile away from me, the nanites explode. And so Dante, you know, breaks out and chases down the rabbit who now has his jewel. And he's about to get the rabbit. He's about to shoot the rabbit. And his head explodes instead of the rabbit's because he gets 1 mile away. Literally, a fraction of a moment before the series would have had a premature ending. And it's just like, oh, you wrote all this, and then you're like, wait a minute, our show would be over. Put a bomb in his head. You might be like, how does Dante survive a bomb blowing off in his head? Well, I mean, he's half demon. He can regenerate from that kind of thing. But I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, when, in Devil May Cry 3, like, Lady shoots him, like, in the forehead at one point. And he kind of just is like, wow, that wasn't nice. Oh, but that also reminds me, there's also, like, anti-demon, there's anti-demon rounds. There's now bullets that, when they hit demons, make demons explode. And you might be like, oh, like holy water bullets or something? Like, you know, bullets with holy water in them? No. Silver bullets? No. Well, then why do demons explode? Well, you see, they, reverse engineered the DNA of demons, and that made them able to make, you know, a substance that makes demons explode when, you know, it touches demons. You might be like, wait, they reverse engineered it. That sounds, what? Wait, what? It's like, yeah, I forgot to mention, Devil May Cry is now a science fiction. It's no longer a fantasy. They actually, several occasions, point out to you that this is not a fantasy story, it is a science fiction story, and might be like, but Devil May Cry is about devils and demons. No. They're now humans, but from another world. Demons aren't demons anymore. They're now, you know, just, you know, they're just people who evolved in a different dimension. Oh god, but who, you know, still have, like, but their blood and whatnot still compatible with ours somehow. Their DNA is completely different than ours, but still compatible with ours. You might be wondering, like, that doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't. Our DNA is close enough where you can literally just where you can have transfusion just of any demon, and you can just transfuse any demon's blood into yours, I guess. But, you know, if a human gets shot by, you know, the anti-demon blood, it won't kill him. Ooh. Even if you have demon blood coursing through your veins, if you are a human and you get shot by the anti-demon blood nerve agent, it won't affect you. You might be like, wait a minute, how would it not affect you if it literally, when it comes into contact with DNA, it explodes? Don't worry about it, because you're still too human. It's like, that's not... Oof. It sets up... It's a sci-fi that sets up certain rules and then doesn't follow them. It's actually kind of funny, because there's a character whose literal existence is just to be like, this isn't a fantasy, it's a sci-fi, it's a scientist character. And again, his whole point is just to reinforce that this is actually a sci-fi now. That Devil May Cry is a science fiction. And every time somebody, like, brings up something fantastical, he is like, no, it's science. And he has to explain everything. Everything has to have an explanation. Oh, hey, the portal between the human world and our world, Oh, that's quantum tunneling. You know, that's you know, the fact that, you know, portals kind of just pop into existence. That's just instability in, you know, the space-time continuum. And it's like, oh, this is awful. You know, this is just bad. Ooh. But you know, like all this is happening, and you're like, oh, okay. And he just keeps explaining again everything. He's like, oh, like everything has to have like a fucking scientific explanation. But it's also getting really like boring because everything is just it's just technobabble bullshit. It doesn't actually make any sense. And then in the third episode, it really feels like the creators also, it feels like the writers were just like, yeah, you know what? We don't want to do this anymore, and they just kill him off. But the problem is they already for like 2.5, for like the for the most part of 3 episodes, they were establishing everything has a scientific explanation. And then in episode 3, they just stopped bothering giving the explanation. But the problem is that it's the problem is though that you've established up until that point that there is an explanation to everything. So when something happens and there's not an explanation and it seems contrary to what you've already told us, like the demon blood thing, you know, it becomes a bit of a problem. Ooh. Saying you have bullets that explode demon blood, and then you have somebody who's filled with demon blood getting shot by bullets and not blowing up. It's a bit of a problem. Oh my god, I just think of the Monty Python. Ooh, of this Monty Python. It's like, you know what? If you're thinking of watching it, just, you know, it's like the Monty Python when they go to Camelot. It's like, on second thought, 'tis a silly place. Let's not go to Devil May Cry, Netflix. 'Tis a silly place. Oh god. There's also a terrible part in like the early on in the opening. It's like the first episode, and when it's like, oh hey, demons are real and they're attacking the Vatican, but Christianity might exist. They never, well no, they directly, actually no, they literally direct. Christianity is real in Devil May Cry now. You know, drink them while I got them. Drink them if you have them. But it's so silly. But when, you know, the demons attack the Vatican, what happens is they start cutting like to different commercials. This is the only time I think they do it the entire series. They do like a RoboCop like cutting to commercials and ads and different programs. You know, like Starship Troopers or RoboCop. But where in Starship Troopers and RoboCop they do it multiple times, I think they do it like once here. They do it once, not realizing like it's really jarring just to do this abruptly and then never do it again. But the whole reason they do it, the reason they do it is for some of the most ham-fisted commentary you've ever gonna have. And you might be like, how bad is it? They're changing between channels, and it's like, oh, you know, like here's a wake for, you know, the dead. And then they change to another channel, and it's just Fox News going, the liberals want us to no longer be the world police, but I think the attack on the Vatican means we should be more, that we have an even greater responsibility to the world. And you might be like, what? Wait, what? Yeah, no, that just happens. And they're like, yeah, for frickin' liberals, they're stupid. And it's literally just Bush-era politics. And all I can think is like, this shit was like outdated like over 20 years ago. Like, oh my god. And the whole demon invasion is kind of meant to be analogous for 9/11 to a certain degree. Because by the end of the series, as justification for the demon invasion, they invade hell. Where Adi Shankar, the Indian man, decided to say that demons are analogous to Middle Easterners by making them, by not only doing the, making it so that, you know, they're being invaded like during the Gulf War on Terror. This is so hard to say. But he even gives them some clothes of like he gives them, you know, head wraps and whatnot, like stereotypical Pakistani, let's say, people, you know? Ooh, I don't think he realized what he was doing. And people are like, why did you say Arabs are demons? And he's like, I didn't. And it's like, but you said the demons are like Arabs. That goes both ways, Adi. If you say it goes, like, it can't just go one way. You might have messed up a little there, buddy. You didn't intend to say that the people of the Middle East are irredeemable monsters, but you said it nonetheless. And that's kind of messed up. And he's like, I didn't say that. It's like, but you did. But you did. It's like making Resident Evil and then having the reveal be the zombies aren't actually evil, you know, man-eating monsters. They're just an allegory for, you know, intercity black people. And you're like, what? That's what he did. He's like, no, the demons aren't evil. They're just Arabs. What? It is such a, like, what, why would you do that? And this is Devil May Cry, where, no, demons are evil. The nature of demons is that they inherently lack humanity. And to gain humanity, they only gain humanity through humans. I think every demon that has humanity in Devil May Cry has gained it through a relationship with humans. They have learned to care through people, because humanity is the source of... Because humanity is the source of humanity. You know, it is... It's kind of spelled out in English pretty damn fucking clearly. Oh, that was 18. Yeah, we need 18? Actually, I haven't played it yet, and I'm probably going to play it for Thursday this week. But in Devil May Cry 4, they literally have a big monologue about, again, how humanity is the source of humanity. How the human race is the source of humanity. And he criticizes he pontificates at a pontiff about how he misunderstood this. And actually people are using that when, did I not cut these off? I don't think I did. I did not. But there's a pontiff, and in Devil May Cry 4 there's a cutscene where Dante pontificates at him. And people are like, oh, see, Dante's goofy. He's being over the top in, like, his explanation to this character. And it's like, dude, he's making fun of, like, he's making fun of the religious leader. Is what he's doing. Is what's happening there is he is, with fanfare, with literally fanfare, he's pontificating at a pontiff. It's actually a really, like, I don't want to say really clever, but it is a clever little sequence. Ooh. For what he's doing, and he's not just being silly for any reason. For like no reason. He's not just, I'm a silly goober. He is, again, parodying the dude. He's literally just roasting the dude while using his own. He's roasting the dude while he's giving the dude a sermon. Okay. He's just also making it a joke to show just how lost the guy is. Whoop. Very silly. It's very silly to, like, not understand that. Because, again, I watched the cutscene and I was like, oh, I don't even need to play the game to understand that's what he's doing. Because it's very evident in the cutscene itself. Then you have people who are like, oh, Lady's just, you know, eye candy in Devil May Cry. You know, she doesn't actually have a character or anything in the series. So you can't complain about her character being misrepresented in the show. And it's just like, what? One of the few things, I'm really bad at Devil May Cry, but one of the few things that kept me going in Devil May Cry was the cutscenes and the story to see how it would play out. And the backbone of that story, a very important part of Devil May Cry 3's backstory is Lady. She is, in part, a foil to Dante. Because they're both working through family trauma, and both of their quests are to confront, family members who are kind of trying, well, not kind of, who are trying to do terrible and evil things. Which is amazing because they kind of missed that entirely in the show. Where Lady and Dante are foils who highlight each other's trauma and, their overcoming of their trauma through Devil May Cry 3. Lady's kind of just a bitch. Unironically, like, she's just a frumpy a-hole. That's all she is. It's not good. Pretty bad. Even parts that should give her pause and make her go, oh hey, like start reconsidering things, she doesn't have. Because Dante literally, like, says how he has a... And I forget how, but he mentions the fact that he has a dead parent, or the topic that, his mother's dead comes up. And when Lady hears this, whose entire trauma is centered around her father killing her mother, her response is, we all have dead parents, who cares? And it's like, oh no, that was like the one big moment of like where you could have had like her, have a quiet moment of self-reflection, or her, maybe have a hesitation in her, like make it so that she's not just a stone cold bitch for like for a scene. Maybe make her, like, actually have a moment to be like, oh shit, wait a minute. Like, this guy who I think is a demon, lost his mother, and he's, like, broken up about that? That doesn't really fit with my preconceived notions. And she doesn't have to have, like, a coming to Jesus moment in that scene. But, that's when you'd expect, some character building to start. But they don't really remember what character building is. Because, well, Lady is treated horribly in the series on a writing perspective. She has a bunch of teammates whose I only remember the name of one because their name is Sentry, and they died because they weren't looking out. Unironically, like, that's literally how they died. But she has a whole team of people, and they just die. And then nothing comes of it. Like, I don't think, like, outside of maybe her saying, like, oh, this is for my team or something when she, gets a revenge kill on one of the monsters that, took out her team. I don't know if they're brought up at all outside of that, and I don't think they're, like, meaningfully brought up at all. Like, if there any reflection on them, if we should even care, like, why should we care that they're dead? Past the fact that, they were supposedly important to Lady, but Lady doesn't really act like anyone is important to her. So why should we believe that they were important to her? Like, this is the problem. A similar thing happens with Enzo. Enzo and Bayonetta. He's a kind of a comic relief dude. He's just a silly little fella who will say very inappropriate things, and then bad things will happen to him, almost like it's karmatic. But then the bad things will get to a point where you're like, well, this isn't fair for him. And then you start feeling for him. You start feeling, kind of sympathetic to him, because because the karma doesn't seem proportional to, the things he said or has done. Ooh. Like, he'll be a little disrespectful, then his car will be destroyed, and you're like, oh. Like, his car will get damaged, and you're like, oh, see, being disrespectful to the dead. Then it'll get destroyed, and you're like, Poor Enzo. Ooh. But Enzo's a short king. We love Enzo here from Bayonetta. But Devil May Cry? Enzo is just this whiny character with an annoying voice until the finale where he sacrifices himself for Dante to like try to save Dante. But again, it's just like, why did we care? Like, why should we care about this character? He was really bad comic relief throughout the series, and now he's dead. Like, the only time I laughed from Enzo was when he died. Ooh. What about? I might need the help. It seems that Gunner has turned into a piece of shit. Gunner might have played his hand a little too hard there. Okay. Is this the wrong piece? Is this the wrong piece? I think. Oh no, that's the correct piece. I'm probably gonna have to go out there. Provide an assist, as it were. It is crazy to me though how little I care about Enzo in. I know they're different than Enzo from Bayonetta, but like in Devil May Cry, there's just nothing there. Cheap viewers, I want you to end. I want you just to no longer exist. Let me get down there. 1 minute, I'm gonna check on the dog because he's being a brat. So I'll be right back. Ooh. Terribly sorry about that. The dog got really bratty for no apparent reason. When I asked, they're just like they couldn't. They're just like, I don't know. I don't know what his problem was, but even when I went out there, he was not trying to, but he almost took a bite at my hand once or twice while I was out there. Ooh. Which he knows that is a very fucking bad idea. I don't know why he got so riled up. But I took my time and got him calm. Ooh. Sorry again for the interruption. Okay. Okay, I'm a little out of sorts because of that. Oh, thank God. I was so worried I lost this because this is another piece that's the size of a gate. That could have gone bad. I do like these things like this though, because these little like handlebars on it to like kind of climb up it if you need to. It's small enough where that's actually a practical option. Like how, if I remember correctly, there's two ways to get into the cockpit. You can either get into the cockpit from either right here, like from the head itself, it opens up. I think another option is through this part right here. This part also opens, so there's redundancy in the system, so if one hatch can't open, you can get out the other way, which is also pretty cool. Ah! Okay, so that's probably gonna have to be glued in. This is... Okay, that's really tight. Okay, when if you build this, you might want to be careful right here. You have to put this in very carefully. And you're also going to want to be careful with this part because it fell off while I was putting that in. Thing is, it's not in all the way. I'm not sure. You see, there's a groove in the leg right there. I don't know if you can actually see it, but there's a groove that this fits into. I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to glue it later. I'm gonna have to use some plastic cement on it later. Yeah, that's gonna have to have plastic cement. They can't push it in enough. So I'm gonna put it in there. Remember, the piece that goes here is in the toolbox. That's more me saying it to myself in the future because I'm gonna forget and I'm gonna have to rewatch this stream. Ooh, would not be the first time. What did I... Yeah, that's how I had to refine the hand to one of my Gunpla. I've had to rewatch streams so many times to refine pieces. Kinda embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. And... Oh, I missed that. I need to cut off B25. B25 is identical on both, so I can just cut off both B25s. Okay. Even with the dog interruption, we're still cooking through this pretty fast, in all honesty. I don't know what we should do tomorrow. We might do Gundog, because we won't be able to do Gundog next week. I wouldn't want to go 2 weeks without it. We might do another short build. But I might want to save those again, as I was saying earlier, for Sundays. Or... Or we could just do some custom work. There's some stuff that I still need to paint on some builds. On this build itself, I could possibly... I don't know if I'd want to practice weathering for the first time on this build. But there's certainly options of things I can do. I could do some Nautica. I haven't done some Nautica in a while. Goodness, I just wonder what got into Gunner. Is that the... Wait, do I just plug it in there? Oh, wow. So, that's the joint. That's the ball joint. These two tubes on either side are what's going to hold this in. Like, it makes sense. But wow. Pretty stable. Pretty articulate too. A good range of motion to it. I mean, look, I mean, just look at that. Look at that. That's pretty good. Let's start the other leg. I could do drawing. Why don't we do drawing if we get done early? Not today, I mean drawing tomorrow. That'd be nice, chat. Nice little draw stream. There we go. Then we get this. Yeah, I felt it wasn't even. There we go. Both are on. Well, that interrupted the Devil May Cry talking, but I don't really know what else to say about Devil May Cry. I know I said that Enzo's death was funny when it was supposed to be, like, sad. When they invade hell, it's supposed to make you go like, oh no, they're not demons, they're just poor Arabs. But then, like, you kind of get distracted by the fact of, like, wait a minute, why are the demons Arabs? Why did he say demons are Arabs? Like, why did he make demons analogous to Arabs? Is he saying, like, by saying, you know, again, that Arabs are demons, he's saying, sorry, that demons are Arabs, he's saying that Arabs are demons. Like, it goes both ways, and it's like, oh, no. He didn't mean to. Lady is supposed to be a foil, but she's kind of... Actually, she's... Oh my god. So, like... Remember I said, like, you know, or the death of her team doesn't really affect her at all? And then, you know, like, Dante, you know, her having anything in common with Dante doesn't really affect her at all? Well, the thing that finally gets to her is some Zabraks from Star Wars... tell her that, like, you know, that they're poor refugees. And then she's like, well, okay, so not all demons are bad. Like, after all of this, after all of this, you know, just being, you know, a clansman, effectively, of, like, a demon hunter, she encounters, again, not even demons, she encounters Zabraks from Star Wars, and if you don't know what a Zabrak is, that's what Darth Maul is. She encounters Darth Maul and his family, and he's like, oh, I'm not so bad, and it's just like... And she's like, okay, well, I understand demons aren't so bad now. Like, that's her entire fucking character arc in one fucking scene. Not joking. Unironically, that is the entirety of her character arc. It happens in one scene. Devil May Cry. A game where her character arcs are only in cutscenes. You know, like that are a few minutes long over the course of several hours of gameplay. Has better, not only pacing than the show in its story, but has better character development over that course of time. Because the entire story has her getting character development. Oh my goodness, it's just so silly. Her encountering Dante and shooting first, asking questions later, but then, coming to understand that Dante is different, and over time, understanding, yeah, Dante's not like the other demons, but he's still a demon. Okay, maybe, he's better than, maybe he's actually a good person. Like, all this stuff in, like, the show, in the show is just missing. She's just, again, a bitch until she encounters some aliens from Star Wars, and then she goes, okay, well, I was wrong all along. My entire life journey was wrong. She doesn't even mind being called, also, like, Lady. She's not Lady, she's Mary Arkham. Everyone in the series calls her Mary Arkham except for Dante, who doesn't know her name is Mary Arkham. Okay? While in Devil May Cry, the reason she's known as Lady is because she doesn't go by her frickin' name. Because her name holds her because her name is connected to her trauma. Oh my god. Like, they just completely fucking miss that. Oop. So, like, she's called Lady by Dante, but there's no connection to it. There's no meaning to it. There's nothing behind it. It says, Lady, Lady, Lady. And then she's like, she literally says, my name is Mary, you can call me Mary. Like, she says she's fine with Mary. So it's like, fucking one thing you had to do with the character, and you fucked it up. You had one thing to do with her character. Oh my god. Like, you had a lot of things to do with her character, but you had one thing that you could, like, is the basic thing you should have done, and you still fucked it up. It's so tiresome. Oh my god. We're playing Devil May Cry 4 this week, fuck it. There is no reason not to play Devil May Cry 4. The only good thing to come out of Devil May Cry, the cartoon, almost said the anime, it's not an anime. The Spectacular Spider-Man is more of an anime than Devil May Cry. And the reason it's more of an anime is because it actually takes inspirations in its animation from anime. Devil May Cry is a Western cartoon with the skin of some anime style. Spectacular Spider-Man, a lot of actual animation from, like, the late 2000s, early 2010s, take a lot of inspiration from anime. Actually, the whole 2000s. A lot of them, like Teen Titans, that's a Western anime. Okay? Because again, it takes inspiration from anime, and it honors a lot of, animation tricks from anime. But Devil May Cry? Nah. It doesn't even look like an anime. Are you kidding me? It is so Western, it hurts. It's a cartoon. The only reason it's called an anime is for marketing. It's not an anime. Ooh. You know what? Let's ask this. What's the best part of Devil May Cry? About Devil May Cry Netflix. That's not a meta thing of, it made the games go on sale, so they're really cheap right now. Go buy them. They're good games. I'm saying this as somebody who's not into those type of games and is really bad at those type of games. They're still really good. Devil May Cry 3 has a horrendous dodge system that is tied to its button and directional. It's still a really good game. Ooh, it has a camera that is super broken and does not function if you're inside. If you're inside like a building, because it will get stuck on walls. I'm pretty sure most of the boss fights are in very confined spaces. Agni and Rudra, they're in a confined space. Virgil, during I think his second fight, is technically he's not technically in a confined space, but if you end up getting too close to the wall, you become in a confined space. You're fighting this big room, so he's kind of like 50-50. I've had the camera literally break on me on stream. It broke through the wall and I couldn't see anything and I just had to die because I couldn't fight him because I could not see him because I was on the other side of the wall. That's how bad the camera is. During the Beowulf fight, bad camera. Ooh, confined space, doesn't maneuver properly. You have to like play. You have to play in consideration of the camera as much as the enemy you're fighting. Ooh. And with that, I would still say, yeah, play the games. I like how in the hard mode, so in Devil May Cry level 18, I think it is, you refight all the you can refight all the bosses. You refight some of the bosses. You get to choose which bosses you refight to unlock the next area. However, on hard mode, they actually make it so that the second time you fight them, they're a little different than the first time, and I really appreciated that. Ooh. Yeah, I appreciate it depending on the boss. The horse boss, it was kind of a pain in the ass, I'll admit. Ooh. But a lot of the other bosses, it was really fun how they like changed up the boss fight, how they refined it for your second go at them. I thought that was really cool for the most part. Not for everything, but for most of the bosses, it was really cool. They turned the horse, which was one of the easiest boss fights, if tedious. Like, it still has, like, it's still tedious as hell, but into a boss fight that just felt very unfair at parts. This is going to be like impossible to get off, so let's not forget to put this on before we like hook this in before we put it on. So it looks like it's actually flexible enough that we could just put it on over. But that could always damage the plastic, so we don't want to risk that. Okay. And we just have to do the waist now. So that way he can do his Duffman power thrusting. The background music is still going. I thought for a second that it wasn't on loop. I thought I was the loopy one. Did it? There's still stuff on that sprue. I have to pick it up. Oh, there's a lot of dog hair. I need to... No wonder I'm still congested. Damn you, Gunner. Damn you and your shedding for spring. You don't think of hound dogs as shedding all that much, but... they can shed as much as any other dog. It's just that their hair is a lot finer, so it's just not as visible. Oop. Still full of that nasty dander. I said this on Twitter, but it's very minor and nobody saw it, and I don't think anyone's gonna see it here if I say it here. But, oop. I actually did have another concept for a VTuber model, and what it would have been is inspired by a Wolver or a Lycanthrope, but I would have been allergic to my own dander. And instead of having the miasma coming out of my neck hole, that would have been the explanation to my breathing problems. Which I think is more comedic. Well, it is more comedic. I'm literally allergic to myself. If I ever had to, like, leave and come back, or rebrand, or join a company, I would definitely push to be that. I actually have a name. It's actually a better name than Merrick Vesper, I hate to say. For the alternative character. Ooh. I just felt like Merrick Vesper was more appropriate for the time. Da-da-da. Da, da, da. They were cooking. Not for the dong, this would have probably been done in under 2 hours. Which is kind of crazy for a high build, even if you don't do prep on it. 2 hours is ludicrously fast. Ooh, like on average, like a high build takes 3 hours in total. This dude don't have that many sprues, and we didn't... Okay, we did not do his hand, apparently. That was a whoopsie. You got big hands going on here. These are like... Jesus Christ, these are like the... Those are bigger than the... Yeah, these are a lot bigger than even the, like, 20... Like, the 23 meter mechs of a Gundam. These are really big hands, proportionally speaking. Actually, Actually, let me... So, I'm not gonna get the full thing out, because I feel like that'd be spoilers for size comparison, but... Like, here is the entry grade RX-70... No, sorry. RX, like, 93 or something? I can't quite remember what the new gun... It's the new Gundam. Like, look how much bigger these hands are. I know, again, proportionally, these are different. These are very different scales, but... Still really big. I'm wondering how tall this will stand compared to a normal Gundam, because as I've been building it, normally I can kind of figure out, like, oh, how big it's going to be, like, standing next to other things, but I've not really been getting a sense of scale with this guy, because the proportions, again, are all different. It's not Gundam scale. Gundam has most of the time, Gundam has very consistent tricks with its scaling, so that even if, like, you're building something and you don't know how big it is, you can kind of figure out how big it is. Ooh. Provided, you know, it's not from early Zeta Gundam. Zeta Gundam, they didn't really have these size tricks figured out yet, but by, I'd say, like, late Zeta Gundam and Char's Counterattack, and I'm pretty sure also Zeta Gundam. Zeta Gundam, they were finding the proportion tricks. By Char's Counterattack and things like that, you can really, like, when you're building something, understand how big something's going to be. So, like, if you're building something from Unicorn, you're like, oh, I know how big this is, like, even before you do a size comparison. Zeta Gundam, they didn't quite have that yet, because you have the Flying Saucer, which I always forget the name of. But the Flying Saucer is like, that's like a 20, like, that might even be a 23 meter mech itself. But you have, like, really big mechs like that. And proportionally speaking, they don't have, like, the smaller head or longer leg proportions that you have in, say, Counterattack or Afterwards for larger mechs. So you just kind of look at it and you think, like, oh, that's just probably like another, you know, maybe 18 or at most 20 meter mech. No, it's way bigger than that. And that's just something you have to, like, but that's just something that they kind of developed over time. But this is a completely different universe. So those tricks to figuring something out visually, not gonna work here. This guy could be anywhere from the size of, like, I'm looking at him, he could be anywhere from, like, the size of the RX-78 to the new Gundam, but I'm really doubting, based on how squat he is, that he's going to be the size of the new Gundam. Which luckily we have ready for comparison. We can have the the entry grade and the real grade for comparison. Speaking of which, real grade, come here. I say that like you can actually walk over here. Let me look at your titty. Okay. Sorry, one of its armor panels fell off while building and I had to re-find it. Oh. Hello! Hello, Pro Cthulhu. How's it going with you? We're all just building here the mech from Votoms. Ooh, having a casual time about it. Da-da-da. Oh. Actually, moving off of DMC, I don't think I have really much else to say about the show. But I saw the Naked Gun trailer over the weekend as well. And at first I was like, this seems like a real mixed bag. I'm not really sure if like I'm interested in it. But then they had like a scene that felt like it was straight out of the original Naked Gun, and it's when Liam Neeson is remembering his father, who is Leslie Nielsen's character. Just vegging. Had a long weekend full. Oof. That's what weekends are for, though, man. Weekends are for debauchery. But as I was saying, in the Naked Gun trailer, it's like, it's like, oh, like, I miss you, father, and then it goes to like the son of the, sidekick from Naked Gun. It's like, I miss you, father, and then it does a wide shot. And it's just a hallway with all the plaques of, like, the characters from the original. And it's all their, like, kids. It's all, like, the characters who were their kids, now adults, like, in the hallway go, like, I miss you, father. Oh, I miss you, father. And then it just hard cuts to O.J. Simpson's picture. And then it just cuts to, the person who's supposed to be his son. And he's just, like, looking at it. He just goes, and he just, like, rolls his eyes and just goes, like, yeah, nah. Ooh. That part of the trailer, actually, I have to say, did get me. Ooh, if it's more like that, if that's most of the humor in it, then I think it has some legs to stand on, and I'd be optimistic for it. Okay. See how this is all coming together. Hope you don't got a hangover, though, from your debauchery. I hope you'd had debauchery. I hope your debauchery was responsible, okay? Ooh. I could not give you hangover cures if you wanted me to. I am an abstainer. I'm a nerd. Let's see here. Come on. Oh, the trick not to, even though I don't drink, I do know the trick to not getting a hangover is simply knowing your metabolism and knowing how much your body can process in a certain amount of time. Oh my goodness, hold up. You double sent and it's on a smaller screen. Let me fucking Mouse, why are you cucking me right now, Mouse? My mouse is Mouse, go to the lowest screen, please, so I can read what he said, you little bastard. Excited for Tron Ares? I have not seen the trailer yet, but I've seen the promotional images, and I'm like, oh, the last Tron movie actually wasn't that bad, and Tron's is a cult classic itself. So I'm like, I'm kind of curious as to where they'll go with it, and I am not putting this on correctly at all. So I'm curious about that myself. Ooh. I'm wondering if it's actually going to be set in the real world or it's mostly going to be set in the grid. I'm kind of curious how that's going to play out. Oh, because Jared Leto, he is a good... I was just thinking about that last week of how Jared Leto, I shit on him a lot, but as a supportive character, he isn't half bad, and it's very much more... the problem with Jared Leto is kind of like he needs somebody to wrangle him in. Ooh. Like, it's easy to make fun of him for his roles, but at the same time, like, Squad Joker, that portrayal of Joker. That's not really, like, that Joker isn't really good to begin with. Like, it's easy to look at Jared Leto and be like, wow, that's awful, but at the same time, I'm like, anyone doing that role, it wouldn't have been very good. Like, I don't think I'd be, like, looking at that and be like, oh, yeah, this is a role that, like, anyone could pull off. I was like, I don't think this is a role anyone could pull off, actually. Ooh. Oh, there's a lot actually revealed from what you said in the narrative. Debauchery is more something that happened at the... Oh. Oh yeah, him in American Psycho is like is one of the examples I use for like how he's not a bad actor. Like again, I shit on him all the time, which is not fair, but I will admit. But no, American Psycho was actually one of the things I was thinking of. But another thing I was thinking of was Lord of War. He plays Nicolas Cage's brother in Lord of War, and he's fine in that. There's nothing I would say is wrong with his character at all. Ooh. Lord of War is a really nice movie. I should probably put it on the Discord watch along. What is... Oh, it's not fully plugged in. No wonder it's not going on. Well, yeah, like... Ooh. It's just that he doesn't do well with eccentric characters. Because he gets a little too into them, I feel. Let me see if I can get this in. I will fully admit I have skipped 2049 because everyone who talks about Blade Runner the way I talk about Blade Runner has never said anything good about it. Like, I've heard people say good things about it. Don't get me wrong. But, like, the people who say who don't like it are the people who like the original Blade Runner for the same reason I like the original Blade Runner. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna hedge my bets and not bother. But yeah, I've heard that even from people who like that movie. It's like, yeah, that's again the whole eccentric. He gets a little too into the eccentric roles. Like when he was playing Joker behind the scenes, God, this is so tight to get in, which is so scary to put on. But like behind the scenes, he was like, "Oh, I'm the Joker, baby," and he was like mailing people like his own. He was giving his co-host like boxes with dead rats in them and stuff because he's like, "I'm a method actor. I'm getting into the role," and it's like, bro, just stop. You're making everyone uncomfortable. He acts like a method actor that is he acts like a method actor that's on meth, in all honesty. Honestly, I feel like Jared Leto is a method actor who should realize he's a better character actor. I kind of feel like that's how I describe Jared Leto. He's a method actor that needs to understand he's way better at being a character actor. See here? If that makes any sense. Character actors get so little appreciation. Because no, Heath Ledger's. We actually watched A Knight's Tale. It wasn't last week. It was 2 Saturdays ago on the Discord, and God, like people always know his Joker, but like Heath Ledger is just good in general. In all honesty, Heath Ledger is, God, it's such a shame that he got some back pain and was like, well, I'm gonna take one too many pills and then die. That was, God, that sucked. That was awful. But yeah, Heath Ledger's great. He can put great emotion behind his roles in general, not only the Joker. Ooh. Actually, I'd probably put, just because I like the movie more overall, I'd put probably his portrayal of Ulrich von Lichten, of William Thatcher from A Knight's Tale over his Joker. His Joker's more iconic, but he's actually the main character in A Knight's Tale, and you really get to explore him as both an actor and a character. But 1 minute, I'm focusing on this. Ooh. I don't know why I thought of this, but with Jake Gyllenhaal, he reminds me of this guy's more of a character actor, to be fair, but it reminds me of he plays the commanding officer in Top Gun Maverick. God, I can't remember his name, which is ruining the comparison, but I don't know why I thought of him, but I can't think of his name, which is terrible. Hold up, let me just type in Top Gun Maverick cast. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck I thought of him, but like I don't know, like they're one of those people like I get a similar vibe from, in a good way. I don't know why the hell I thought of that though. Because sometimes your brain is a little weird and you can't explain it in the moment. I feel like it's one of those actors that you're like, I feel like what it is, it's one of those actors you see in stuff and you're like, I would like to see you in more stuff of this specific quality. I feel like you're underutilized in that. I think that's what it is with both Jake and that guy. It's actually similar to Patrick Warburton, who's very much known as like funny, deep-voiced man from like, you know, Joe Swanson and Family Guy and whatnot, or Krunk from Emperor's New Groove, but as his performance in Venture Brothers shows, like he can have like a character who's more serious. Ooh, he's just one of those dudes that you just always want to see in more stuff. Yeah, he does have that corporate douchebag vibe. That is also that is a way to put some of his characters, absolutely. But he does it so well. For, not Warburton, but the person before, of course. Actually, one actor that, because a lot of times there's so many actors that you think like, oh, I'd love to see him in more stuff. There's very few actors that you're like, oh, I'd love to see him in more stuff. Wait a minute, he's in like everything, and I'm happy about that. The one actor I can think of that always goes to mind for me of like, I am happy with as much stuff as he's in, and he doesn't need to be in any more stuff or any less stuff, is Alan Tudyk. Ooh. Alan Tudyk is a great character actor, comedic character actor, and he seemingly is always, no matter what time of his career, in exactly the right number of stuff. Ooh. That guy, so I'm not saying that guy, I'm actually going to look up his name real quick. Why is he at, like, the bottom of the list, bro? Why? He's such an important oh my god, this movie has a lot of characters in it. Oh, he's still talking about a lot of actors... Actually, I feel like the measure of a lot of actors is how well they can do comedy, because if you've seen Tropic Thunder, one of the funniest people in that movie is Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. playing a dude, playing a dude disguised as a dude, playing another dude or whatever it is. It's I'm the guy playing a dude, like disguised as a dude, playing another dude. I can't get, that's not the fucking line, damn it. But he's one of the funniest parts, and actually a joke he makes in the movie is he stays in character until he does the I put the leg on backwards until he does the DVD commentary, and on the DVD commentary for Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. is in character, is doing his voice the entire time for the character. He's doing his I don't know if he's doing his Lazarus. I can't remember, or if he's doing like the sergeant's voice. But when he's at the end of the commentary, when the movie ends, he just goes immediately into his Sherlock Holmes voice because that was the next movie he was working on. He's like, okay, then see you later, chaps. John Hamm, thank you so much. Ooh. John Hamm actually, I think, has a new show coming out. I don't know if it's on Apple or HBO. I'm not quite sure. But I know he has a new show coming out where he's... what is he? He's like a... He's a guy who... He's a rich dude who loses his job and then resorts to petty crime to keep up, like, the bills. He starts stealing from his neighbors. He starts, like, stealing really expensive things from his neighbors so he can still, you know, afford his house around said neighbors. And I'm interested in that. Ooh. Just to see, like, how that goes. Oh, there's the other back of the hand. Ooh. Is that already a series going on? It's always hard to know with ads if it's a series that's ongoing or not. It does sound like that movie. Ooh. My brain is melting. Give me a minute. I'm so used to Gunpla hands that having anything... having these slightly differently designed is making me just not know how this works. Okay. And then this goes here. And oh no. The hands are like technically... I was able to figure out which hand was the right and which one was the left simply by the fact that one of them had worse gates on it. I can't believe I'm already done with this. Jesus Christ. It hasn't even technically been 2 hours. How is that possible? Jesus Christ. Oh my god, look at him. He looks like a dwarf. He looks like the dwarf equivalent of a mech. He's so squat. He's adorable. Christ, he might not even be as big as an RX-78, even at this scaling. Let's get his gun together and let's see how big he is. This guy's insanely tough. I was hoping when I got him finished built, like done being built, I could figure out how big he is proportionally. I never put it in his sticker like a dumbass. Ooh. He is kind of like a little... He's like a Ninja Turtle combined with an urban mech. That's how he feels, which is weird because I'm pretty sure he predates the urban mech by quite a few years, but... Oh, what? Look at that. Look how thick that gate is. Look at that. That's a gate. Why is it so thick this way? The gating on this is so inconsistent. Ooh. And then let's go. I think I messed this up a little. I think I wasn't supposed to put those together until the other pieces were in between them. Come on, come on, come on. Nope, wait. I was being dumb. Okay, there we go. Uh, let's see here. What song is even playing right now? What the hell? I do not remember this song being on the playlist. Give me 1 minute. What the hell are you? Oh, you're Fantasia. No wonder you're all over the place. Fantasias are either really, really solid or have really solid moments and then are just schizophrenic the other half of the time. Ah, Yankee Doodle. This kit itself is a 1/20th scale, but it's from Votoms, which you might be like, 120, shouldn't it be way bigger? No, like, this thing is only like 5 meters tall in like this height. Yeah, it's like only at most like 5 meters tall from the anime that it's from. Let me see if I can get there it is. It is from Armored Trooper Votoms. Ooh. And I watched the first episode today, and what happens in the first episode, I've said this already, boss, say it again for you, is it's like there's been a 100-year war, and at the end of the war, oh, I see I messed up again there. Almost messed up again. Some people go rogue, and they raid a military installation to take its gold, so they can, run away. But they also find in the military installation a naked woman in like a pod, which they also take. And that's all the information you're given. And God, I miss old storytelling hooks. It's just like, hey, here's a naked woman. You're interested now, aren't you? You might have looked at the gold and been like, yeah, whatever. But a naked woman? What's up with that? I don't know the story so far, but it is, a lot of the stuff I've seen, it is on a desert planet, which is, a lot of the Zoids I remember growing up with were usually on desert planets. It's very easy to, just be like, hey, what's our arena? The desert. Okay. Ooh. So it is kind of like that, but I think this is from the... Ooh. This goes in here. I think it's from the 80s. Oh, hello, Derek. How you doing, Derek? We're just wrapping up. Sorry that that I came in a little late, but we're just wrapping up this guy. We're gonna do some size comparisons though before we leave. Ooh, but we've done most of the building. I think we actually just finished all the building with the firearm now complete. Can we just plug it in? We can! Oh, but he has the problem like Zaku's have, where like his arm isn't actually long enough to hold his own gun. 1 minute. Let me see if I can fix this. Come on. That's a little frustrating. Oh, we're listening to Yankee Doodle. Oh, it's Fantasia again. But switching between songs. Okay. He can't really hold his gun all that effectively. Like, he's supposed to... Okay, so he's supposed to hold it across like this. And then the other arm... Oh, you actually need to have the open hand to hold it. Let me see. I just put down the open hand. Oh, there it is. You'll find I am easily distracted. Come on. Come on, you... Ah! No! Oh, the war took his limbs. Oh, lordy. Okay, let's see if we can try that again. Okay, okay. It is... You can reach across your... How do you do... I'm looking at this image right now, and I'm just wondering what witchcraft did they do? No! Okay. I see how they did it, though. Okay, so it's like this. That's very nice that he can tuck it in next to himself like that, I will say. Come on. Ah! Okay. See if we can recreate the pose from this. Okay, so... I don't know if I can do it justice. He's also like a little more scrunched, but very flexible for how squat he is. His arms are not the most secure, but they can be easily tightened up with some plastic cement later. But the real question here, chat, is how big do you think this guy's gonna be? You think he's gonna be comparable to like a normal high grade? Do you think he's gonna be smaller, bigger? Because I've built this dude and I still don't know. Yeah, I want to see if I can do this real quick. Oh, lordy. Okay, then. I do like that, though, how they land or how you disembark them is they actually go down so you can get easily in and out of them from here, so it's at ground level now. Nice that they included that as something you can do with him, even though it didn't come with a little dude. Okay. Let's see what we have for size comparison. Shall we, chat? You don't have a head. So let's not use you. Let me see here. Zaku, perfect. Okay. These are not the same scale, but that's not the point of this. I just want to see. Okay. Looks like he is. Graphic Zaku. That's so mean. But where's your arm? Oh, earlier I said I'm gonna lose. Oh no, earlier I made a joke about how easily I lose pieces. Oh no. Okay, there it is. Then I have to go back and rewatch streams to figure out where I put things. I found it though. Ah! His V-fin fell off. Ah! His arm fell off. This is terrible. Please. Please, please, please. Just fucking go on. Go on. Just, for the love of God, go on. There we go, buddy. Okay. Now here is the entry grade RX-78. No, sorry. The new Gundam. I don't know why I said that. Just to give you... Look at him, he's a little short king. Oh my god. It's like a really fat Zaku. I love it. But even though he's so much smaller, his hands are still so much bigger. Like if I can show you this again, just like look at the difference in hand size. God, dude, the man is a bat. Like, he might be short, but, like, he has the hands of a ball player. Ooh. And here's the... For the graphics comparison statement again, here's the real grade of the new Gundam. I need to finish your funnels, I just realized. God, he's so tiny. He's like a little child because his proportions next to them. He's a little goofball. Ah, my head. Bah. Don't worry about it, chat. My head does that. Sometimes I just lose my head. Okay. That's a pretty nice build, though, overall. I don't really know if there's anything else. There's one thing I could compare him to as well. Okay. This is something I should have done with the RX-78 when I finished it, so I'm gonna do it here as well. Stop having a stroke model. Okay, there we go. But I want to see him next to the Doga, as well as the RX. It's still RX, but it's like RX-93 or something, I can't remember. Next to these guys as well. Your shield is blocking the perspective, buddy. I think this guy's like 20 or 21 meters. So, not that that matters. He's, the Votom's not in the same scale, but... That's pretty nice. Oop. These ones do definitely feel like older brother, little brother. Honestly, the size disparity, even though he's shorter than the Zaku, doesn't feel as bad as the Zaku because he's wider. Because he's so wide, when you have them standing next to each other, it doesn't feel as much as like the Zaku does, because the Zaku looks really teensy tiny compared to this guy, because he's so much thinner. So, let's get you back in the center of camera line. So something to note with this guy, for anyone who wants to build him, he's really easy to build, really quick to build. We built him, how fast? New Gundam, yes. We have the real grade and the entry grade. Ooh. The entry grade was actually how I got back into doing hand cams. And the real grade was for an anniversary stream. But for this guy, something to note is this piece, which is like a... It's just like a, I don't know, it's just like a handlebar for his knee. Ooh, probably, it's, yeah, so you can climb up him. So, you know, you can put your foot here, put your hand here, then climb up him using this, using these footholds and handholds. But this is really loose, and you might have to glue it. I'm gonna have to glue mine. Maybe yours will go in better, but mine not so much. He has... Oh, that's disappointing. He has an ab crunch, as you can see. But his ab crunch, this is really disappointing, because this is something that they fixed with the old RX-78s. RX-78s used to, if they had an ab crunch, would break the mold in the back. But they fixed that because they realized that... Oops. But they fixed that, but it's like, it seems like they kind of reinvented it here somehow. Hold up 1 minute. I accidentally... Okay, so that's something to be concerned with. I accidentally flicked off... Okay. I accidentally flicked off his scopes. So that's something you might want to be careful for. And you can't glue in his scopes. Well, you can, but if you do, you won't be able to move them around, which is kind of the whole gimmick of it. So you might want to be careful with the scopes. He's pretty flexible overall with his legs, which you'd want him to be, considering he's supposed to be able to do this. But he's pretty... But, like, I mean, that's a pretty good wide... For how stocky he is, that's a nice wide stance. Ooh. His arms are pretty flexible, all things considered. It's just that you might want to tighten them a little so they don't pop off easily. Ooh. But really, they only popped off because his gun was wedging between his body, and I think it's probably going to be more a matter of just figuring out the geometry of his gun to his hand, to his arms, and that probably won't be a problem. You probably won't need to like thicken any joints or anything. Ooh. That guy was really fun, quick build. No idea what we're doing tomorrow, because we were supposed to also be building this dude tomorrow. But he was so simple and straightforward, we built him in one day. I'll get back to you on that. I'll figure it out and I'll post it on the Discord and on Twitter. Ooh. By tomorrow. This is really nice, actually. Ooh. Actually, one of my favorite builds of this year. Wonder how he's gonna hold up, because he has no polycaps, which is good. So if he does start to grade in any joints, we can just... Ooh. Sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't scratch the lens. That'd be terrible. Okay. Well, I don't think there's much... Sadly, there's just not much else to do. I'm used to these streams going on for like 3 hours or something. This is weird. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, there's a... Drop a follow, why not? That'd be really appreciated. Ooh. We got a Discord. We got a Discord link if you're on Twitch in the master link on the Twitch info page, I think. Ooh, the card will have also the YouTube and everything else. And if you're on YouTube and you'd rather be watching on Twitch for any reason, you can also just go to the master link on the YouTube page. Ooh. But I think that's probably gonna be us calling it for today. Really nice build, really simple build. As I said earlier, there's a lot of room for him to have customization if you want it. Actually, this seam is really nice. I would just like to say his shoulder seam is really nice. On camera, it's coming through a little more obviously than it is in real life, but in real life, it's actually really clean. You sand that a little, it would pretty much be... You wouldn't be able to recognize it at all, and this little chain thing blocks out most of this seam. They wouldn't need to do anything to fix this one up at all. Ooh. Really nice build. Ooh. And let me... Actually, if we're wrapping up, let me get links out. Because I cannot raid on the YouTube because I'm too small. I'm too pathetically small. Oh my god. Let me get a link out for YouTube. And then I can have my closer and say goodbye to you wonderful bastards. I'm going to link out on YouTube to copy to Kiki. To Kiki, the Australian rabbit VTuber. And what do we got over here? I don't like raiding with only 2 people because I don't want to feel like there's any obligation. So I'm also going to link out on Twitch for you beautiful, beautiful bastard. Oh my goodness, it looks like... I guess I'll link out to this person, because they're the only person I know who's streaming. That's weird. Okay. Well, that's, Beanie Mercury, who's confrontational, but she's doing D&D with some friends right now. However, alas, this is the end of our stream. We'll be back tomorrow at the same bat time, same bat channel. You're welcome to join us. However, for tonight, I'd just like to say thank you for joining us for this very fun, surprisingly quick build. Have a great day, a wonderful life, and remember, don't lose your head. This is Merrick Vespa signing off, from me to you. Oh, and if you enjoyed this, drop a like if you're on YouTube, and a subscription, and follow along on the Twitches. On the Twitch! God, I don't know where I am. What is life? What is love? Maybe don't hurt me. I should just shut up.